This video is going to be, how can I say it? It's going to be pretty depressing, and when we get to the end of it, kind of pathetic, depending on how you'll view it. Yeah, it has to do with Pokemon Crimson. Let me start off, before I even get into anything, let me just say that Pokemon Crimson is cancelled. Expeditions included. And you'll be like, wow, you couldn't finish this one either? Wow, bravo. No. There's a lot more deeper personal reason why I decided to cancel it. And we're getting into this now. In February of 2022, I got into a relationship. It was a pretty good one. And throughout that whole year, there was probably noticeable good behavior changes about with me. And if you ask any of my friends, in February of 2022, I got into a relationship, and well, throughout that whole year until October, I was actually pretty mentally stable and sound. In fact, everything was, during those months, life was good. Life was good, really. Now, I started to fuck up in the relationship. It got testy in September. Got really testy. And fast forward October 7th, 2022, Pokemon Crimson Part 1 came out. And you'll be thinking, what the fuck does that have to do with Pokemon Crimson being cancelled? We're about to talk about that. Pokemon Crimson originally was created as a gift for my partner. It was for her to convince her that everything would be alright, that it was getting bumpy along the way, but it would be okay. We just needed to get through that. Obviously, this video exists, so it didn't work. And over time, the original intention of Pokemon Crimson warped into what gets into the pathetic side of why it even exists. Pokemon Crimson is something that now has become something that shouldn't exist, but it still does anyways. Like, when I made part 2, that's when everything had fallen apart. That's when I just lost everything. That's when I was like, I had just snapped. And I made Pokemon Crimson Part 2, and you'll be like, well, man, and I always refer to Pokemon Crimson Part 2 as one of my worst animations because it performed badly, and I made it badly, but that also wasn't the reason. It wasn't also because, 3D models weren't the good choice to go. It was also because I was in a hurry. I was on the clock. I was like, I need to get this out. I need to save it. And by the time I uploaded that video, it was gone. It was over. It was already to a point. We were already at a point of no return. At that point, that's when I started to crumble mentally. And it'd be seen later throughout that time because a few months later, in 2023, yes, I made Pokemon Crimson Part 3. Now those 3 months are possibly the most painful, excruciating, and devastating part of my life. Not because I was animating everything, not because I was so hard at work making a script, and not because I was voicing everything. It was those factors, but I was really fucking depressed during those 3 months. I was ready to just ditch everything and walk out the door, if you know what I mean. And not in the... If you don't know what I mean, then holy shit, then man, you really have a good outlook on life if you don't know what that metaphor means. And I shouldn't have kept going with it. I shouldn't have. But what I believed in at that time was that I had a job to do for you guys. I believed that just because it was hard for me doesn't mean that I should ruin that for everyone else that was watching it, for the people that enjoyed it. Okay, And and back to what I was talking about how it lost its original meaning when I first created it. Because at this point, it was when it got to Pokemon Crimson Part 3, when it got to the epilogue, that's when I started utilizing my self-insertion. A self-insert character. That's when I started going back to what Crimson original started as, a self-insert story. It's not that anymore. But Pokemon Crimson post Part 3 became a self-insert story. Why? Because if you remember another character that I created, Marsh, right? The champion. She's her. She's my partner. She was inspired and created based off my girlfriend at that moment. And let me tell you, that moment when I created that character, in Part 3, let me tell you something. The reason why in Part 1, in Part 3, why it was so suddenly changed up that Ame would not be fighting the character Red, and instead this new character who came out of bumfuck nowhere. Now let me tell you something. The team did not know about Marsh until I suddenly brought it up. The team did not know about my whole relationship issues because I didn't want them to know about it, because I didn't want anybody else to worry beside me. I just told them, hey guys, alright, I did some research, and I did do the research, okay? I could have just been like, okay, well, Red is still this age at this time, alright, let's move on. No, I did the research, and I was like, I told everybody, okay, he's going to be this old, is he really going to be doing this at this age? Okay, so everybody, meet Marsh, alright? They were just like, they went along with it, but they didn't know why I created Marsh. They didn't know where the fuck Marsh even came from. Now this is the reason why I created everything, was to create a universe that I wanted, but I could never get. This universe, Pokemon Crimson, eventually ended up becoming a universe where me and her, where it worked out. And I wish I was lying, and this is the part where you can actually go and say, you know what? That's pretty fucking pathetic. That's very fucking pathetic. And you'll be like, you can't let go. I tried, alright? And now I feel like the answer is right in front of me. I feel like the answer is, I need to put this whole series to rest. I could still use the characters, but not Marsh. I cannot keep that story going. I'm sorry if I disappointed you who wanted to see the series keep going, who wanted to see its ending. But what I wanted to tell you all is that if I had ended that series, I'd be completing the mental terror that has been going on. If I completed it, I would have successfully created a universe where me and her stay together. And you know what? It is pathetic. It is pathetic, but why would you call someone pathetic if they're going through quite a lot at that time? All that time, all of Pokemon Crimson, the only word I can associate it is with grief. I was going through so much grief at that time that I thought, yeah, let's have these two characters fall in love. Let's have these two characters, make amends with each other, and finally make it work. But now I'm at the point where if I successfully manage to complete that story, then I have really become truly fucking pathetic with my life. So what I'm hoping is that people understand why I canceled this, and they understand that now, hopefully, I can put my own mental torment to rest, and I hope that this is the end of what has been a full year worth of torment to rest. I'm not going to be editing this video all along because there's nothing to edit. I haven't stuttered. I haven't said anything that I'm going to re-say again so I can give it more, oomph. This is all coming out from me, and you've noticed how my voice is raised up. It's not raised up because, I'm a good actor. It's raised up because, really, this has all been packed up in my head for a whole fucking year. I'm trying to tell you all that, I know that maybe there's people who look up to me when they see my channel. Barnhart, I know you look up to me, man. I'm sorry that I ignore you, but I know you look up to me, man, but I hope you don't see me as pathetic. Everybody has their own cracks. Everybody's human. And I managed to hide mine up until now. And why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because I needed to tell the truth. One of my goals is be transparent. And I'm telling you the reason. Being truthful as to why I'm canceling this. Because this cannot go on any further. I cannot take this anymore. I hope that this is the end of where my torment ends. Because if it's not, then what the fuck else do I do? And on the rare small chance that she would ever see this, I would like to apologize. I want to say I'm sorry. I want to say I'm sorry for everything that did happen. For everything I tried to do tried to fix everything, but I failed. I'm sorry. And to you, my viewers, I'm sorry that I had to be this pathetic to you. I'm sorry to everybody. But I really hope this is where it ends.